This is analogous to the painter's paints essentially because these are the new bulbs going into the garden, which will bloom in the spring.
And right here, these are the plans for where they're going to plant the new bulbs, and they already figured it out with color coordinations and everything like that. So they know exactly where they're going to go.
Right, exactly. So painters have their palette and the Central Park gardeners have their trolley cart.
Cool. Alright, awesome.
You're good.
So, this is a statue that people call Mary and Dickon because it's dedicated to the author of the book that wrote The Secret Garden. And when the sculptor made it, he didn't specifically call them by those names, but everybody just started calling them and the name stuck. And also, this is fitting to be here because this garden isn't very well known throughout the city, so it's kind of like a secret garden. And also, it shows how Central Park is really the center of art in the city, because this is a sculpture, an art form, dedicated to a book, another art form, in a garden, the only formal garden in a park in New York City, which is amazing. It's just, this is the epicenter of art in New York City right here.
Alright, thanks, Eli.
So these are the crabapple trees that the curator told us about, and these have been here since 1930 when the conservatory garden was designed. And in the spring they have lots of pink flowers and they fall to the floor, and then this whole section of the garden here, even though it's all greenery right now, it turns pink and the petals are everywhere and it's beautiful. We are here now in the center of the French garden, the north part of the conservatory garden, and these are the three dancers. This marks the center of the French garden, and around it, normally in the spring, there are 20,000 Korean chrysanthemums and tens of thousands of tulips growing here.
So man, basically, this is the largest art form in New York City, the Central Park in general.
Yes.
And do you like realize that, would you have thought of it as an art form if you didn't?
Actually, yeah, pretty much. I
Yeah.
come here a lot to, you know, draw, paint.
Nice.
It's pretty much for people who like to escape the traffic in the city.
Here we are in the Shakespeare Garden. Here's flowers for you, hot lavender, mints, savory, marjoram, the marigold that goes to bed with the sun, and with him rises weeping. Nothing is more the child of art than a garden. This quote is found on a bench in the Shakespeare Garden, and it perfectly describes any garden's relationship to the vast array of mediums known as art. This Shakespeare Garden specifically is a child of an art form, in this case, Shakespeare's writing. Alright, so the coolest thing about Shakespeare Garden is the fact that there are plaques with Shakespearean quotes next to the flowers that are mentioned in the plaques. Like here, there'll be lilies blooming in the spring, and here's a rose bush and another rose bush. And this is a quote from King John describing the rose bush. And so the designers of this garden basically took Shakespeare's quotes and added their own influence with the plaques.
Strawberry Fields, located on the west end of Central Park on 72nd Street, is a colorful landscape, the exuberance of which is best observed at the peak of autumn. In 1981, the area was dedicated as a memorial to John Lennon by the City Council. The area also serves as one of the park's few informal gardens. It is shaped like a triangle, the center of which contains Lenin Circle. Lenin Circle, a counterpart to Lenin Square in Russia, is a gift of the Italian government and a replica of a famous mosaic in Pompeii. It is a Greco-Roman style mosaic with the word imagine placed in the middle, symbolizing unity. It is also used by passerbys as a means of holding tokens of remembrance, such as the red rose you can see here in the middle.
So here we are at Strawberry Fields, located on 72nd Street on the west end of Central Park. So the purpose of this area is to serve as a memorial for John Lennon, who was shot and killed right near this area somewhere. So the vision behind this park, aside from being memorial, is to serve as an architectural landscape as well as conceptual art, envisioned by his wife, Yoko Ono. Yoko Ono had grand visions in mind. She envisioned that several countries from around the world would contribute at least one monument to be located here in this park and be a means of unity among all the countries. You had things sent like tiles from Paraguay, a fountain from France, as well as other things. Unfortunately, the park couldn't accommodate all these things, so they sent them all back. So what they did instead, to serve the same purpose, is allocate one plant for each country of the 121 countries that decided to participate in John Lennon's memorial, and that one plant represented that country. So you have all these plants here in this area representing a country, and they're all unified in this one place. So you can see that unity established by this park kind of gives you a sense of what art, the powers of art, what art can do for humanity. Art usually is a leisure activity for most of us and something that we derive entertainment from. However, we can see the greater value of art here. Here, art serves as an inspiration and motivation for greater ideals, such as unity amongst all the nations of the world, despite their differences. So we can see here that art is used to identify the good traits of humanity and to further humanity and to better it. And without art, humanity simply is just not complete. Aside from it being a leisure and a pleasure, it's also something that is extremely important that we need.
Black and white and pink with blades of blue that lay between the words I think on a page. I was meaning to send to you. I couldn't tell it to bring my art the way I wanted when I started writing this letter to you. But if I could, you know, I would just hold your hand and you'd understand. I'm the man who loves you.